What gave you this idea? What inspired you to draw up a picture and hand it to an inventor that was one of your patients?
Well, really, I think there were two main tragedies that kind of occurred. One was the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, and then the one just right here at home with the Moore tornadoes and the devastation, especially to the elementary schools. We were all devastated by that, and after that, Stan, our other partner, Dr. Jay Hannon, we just felt compelled to try to figure out an option for our kids when a tornado shelter just simply isn't available.
All right, so tell us about this blanket. What is it made of? What does it do? How does it work?
Okay. This blanket, when we started out, we were going to use Kevlar in the blanket because that's the name everybody thinks of when they think of protecting from flying objects like bullets and debris and things of that nature. And we got in contact with Dr. Jay Hannon, Associate Professor of Aerospace Materials at Oklahoma State University in Tulsa, and he had just completed a very large grant for the United States Department of Navy developing body armor for the Marine Corps, and he introduced us to a product called Dyneema. And Dyneema is the new bullet-resistant material. It's made with nanotechnology. It's ultra-high-density polyethylene plastic that is 5 times stronger than Kevlar, so it takes 5 times less of it to make it work. This blanket is roughly just 5/16 of an inch thick, and the reason it can do that is because the Dyneema is so much thin, it takes so much less of it. If this was a Kevlar blanket, it'd be 1.5 inches thick, and it'd weigh about 3 times as much. So we, weight was a real priority, and then it also has an impact absorbing gel in it called Impact Gel that's made out of soybean oil. That is the highest energy absorbing material thus far known to mankind because of the sheer density of it, and so it takes the projectile is stopped by the Dyneema, and then part of the energy is dissipated through that, and then it's further dissipated through the Impact Gel.
So you get this idea, you draw it out, you give it to an inventor, then what happens?
Well, we had to find a manufacturer, and Steve is the king of Google on the internet at night, and he said, "Hey, I found this company in Miami, Oklahoma. Would you go talk to them?" And I talked to the guy on the phone, drove up there, and they were just what we needed for somebody to manufacture. They were the governor's small business manufacturing business of the year last year. The name of their company is Totolong, and they do so specialized packs and stuff for different products and for like SWAT teams and special forces and things that are not mass produced. And they looked at this and they were really excited about the project, and we made prototypes, and then we took them to Oklahoma State University in Tulsa, went to a shooting range, and did a National Institute of Justice Series 3A test, which is the same as the police officers bulletproof vests are given, and this product met or exceeded that 3A test. So we feel real confident about it. And one of the nice things about this, Kevlar's not really good at stopping sharp objects, and this will stop sharp objects like glass, shards of metal, because of the different layering in it and the way it deflects as it goes through it. So it will stop it. Leave anything out?
No, I think the real, not only did we want to stop projectiles, but that energy absorbing that it can perform is really critical, because we're trying to stop that blunt force trauma when that rubble is falling down on a child, for instance, in the hallway. That was our big thing, is we want to, instead of broken bones, we just want bruised bones. And we think that this might be an answer to that. So.
And another thing about this, we talked to first responders, and one of the biggest problems in a tornado situation, when people are in a debris field and injured, finding them is critical. So we used safety orange as the color, so if they saw just the smallest piece of this material, it would allow them to dig to find them, because finding them is critical. And if the kids in Moore that were killed would have had these on, they could have found them quicker. Now, it might have saved a life. It might not, but it might have saved one. It might have saved them all. We don't know. But we want to give them, this thing gives kids an option, an alternative that will give them a better opportunity to survive. And that's all we can do, is give them a better opportunity to survive. Now, I know they've talked a lot about building safe rooms and spending $500 million to build safe rooms for the state of Oklahoma schools. That's a neat idea, but that's a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of years. A lot of schools don't even have the room on their campuses to build safe rooms. And another thing about a safe room doesn't protect you in a school shooting. These things will be stored in the classroom, and they can lock the door and put these things on in a matter of seconds. And a safe room is going to be down the hall, or it's going to be the hall. And that's not going to be a good place to be if somebody walks into school and starts shooting. And it's sad that we have to face this, but, we see it almost weekly. I mean, there was another one yesterday at Seattle Pacific University. Yeah. And I've actually been on that campus, because I built an athletic field there 15 years ago. And, it was kind of eerie for me to hear that on the news. And I mean, it's just sad that we've come to this in society, but that's where we are.
When we were developing this, developing over this last year, one of the things we also did is we just simply talked to school superintendents and school board members. And after talking with them, you really began to realize that our school districts and the superintendents and those that have to make that budget are really kind of navigating that path between the budget reality that they have and then also children's safety. And by no means would we ever say that this is more protective than a tornado shelter. But what we are saying is, when you have budget constraints, or when the cost of the tornado shelters is just simply too much to even put on a bond issue, we think this might be a viable alternative. Because again, we just kind of feel like something's better than the current. And it seemed like superintendents and those in school administration were very open to that, because as Stan was saying, that's sometimes just the hard reality of it for our school districts. It's a challenge they face every year when they're looking at their budget. And Edmond is where I'm from. Edmond's kind of a prime example. About 2 months after the Moore tornado, there was discussion in Edmond of putting up a $30 million bond issue for 6 schools to have a tornado shelter. Well, when evaluating it and looking at that cost, that was going to really incur high taxes on the community, and they just simply couldn't do it. We can provide this alternative at potentially a fifth of the cost for a school. And as Stan has already said, we felt like we're even adding a benefit if we have a gunman enter a school. We're giving our kids even another layer of protection. So,
if a school wanted to get these right now, how would they go about that? Or also, how would an individual go about buying these?
go ahead.
All they have to do is contact our website, and which is bodyguardblanket.com, and request information or contact from us. And we've been very spirited in our responses. We've had tremendous response from around the country, and we're getting noticed from around the world. Actually, one of the largest Hispanic networks, television networks in the world, is coming to interview us about this product, so that the Hispanic-speaking world will understand what's going on with it. Because I mean, the problem of school violence and calamities for kids and needing additional protection is not limited to Tornado Alley. Because when we originally started this, we wanted to protect kids from storm damage. And then we got to looking at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is school violence, not the tornadoes, because the tornadoes affect, roughly maybe 15 to 20 states in a country. And, the rest of the world needs these. I mean, there's gun violence all over the world that's uncontained. So,
I'd even like to add, too, that we're starting to see some interest from some generous corporations and some charitable foundations, and we're definitely wanting to work with them. I think, just looking at Oklahoma, we have some really generous companies and corporations that have donated dollars to various projects throughout this state. And we're hoping that they'll begin to talk with us as well, so we can start fitting out school districts that, again, just simply can't afford this. No, I think for us, the thing that we're proud of is that this is something that was developed in Oklahoma. We manufacture it in Oklahoma, and we hope that the state of Oklahoma becomes kind of a leader in providing this to states around the nation. So that's important to us, too. We're pretty proud of that. So, all right.
Yep.
All righty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.